The elites, face coverings, and multiculturalism. I'm Brian Lilley with TheRebel.Media. Our elites, through the courts, are at it again, trying to overturn centuries of Canadian tradition, legal and otherwise, in favor of what essentially amounts to Sharia law. We've told you the story before about Zinera Ishak. This is the woman who came from Pakistan in 2008. She decided she wanted to become a Canadian citizen. But when she discovered that she would have to show her face as she pledged allegiance to the country she wanted to become a full citizen of, well, she balked at that idea and decided that her Muslim faith was more important. But rather than leave it there, she appealed it to court. She felt that her Muslim faith and her desire to live under Sharia law should be more important than Canadian law, Canadian legal tradition stretching back centuries, that you show your face while swearing an oath. Federal court judge agreed with her. But what's interesting is this has been argued that it's a matter of religious freedom for Miss Ishak. No, that's not what the judge ruled on. The judge ruled that, well, this is a matter for judicial discretion. And now an appeals court at the federal level has agreed with that judge. They not only did that, but in a rare move, I've been watching the courts for a long time, in a rare move, they didn't reserve their decision and write it out. They gave an oral decision from the bench as the hearing was wrapping up, meaning it stands right now. Why'd they do that? The judges said they did it so that Ms. Ishak could get her citizenship and vote before the October 19th election. You can bet which way she's going to be voting. It won't be for the Conservatives that try to uphold Canadian tradition. No, it's going to be for one of the other parties that think Canadian tradition doesn't matter as much as Sharia law. What's interesting is the majority of Canadians across party lines back the Harper Conservatives on this. An Ipsos Reid poll from March found that 88% agreed with the idea that you should show your face at a citizenship ceremony. And 72% agreed with Prime Minister Stephen Harper's idea that the Niqab or the burka or any of these face coverings come from a culture that is anti-women. Now, once upon a time, we would have relied on feminists to point this out, and now they rally to the side of Ms. Ishak. They want to embrace this fully. There is a disconnect between the elites, whether we're talking about judges, most of our politicians, the media, and where the general public is on this. And it's a worrying trend that we're seeing in far too many cases. We're seeing it in the Syrian refugee crisis right now, where the public is on one side, and the media and our other elites are all on another side. There's a disconnect between where the regular people live and where the people at the top live. This is a dangerous way to go for a civilization. But that's the bigger question. We'll examine that more later on. In this case right now, we have judges acting in a very political manner to reshape Canada in their vision, or the vision of Sharia law and Ms. Ishak, because Canada has always been about the British tradition where you show your face. We shouldn't be surprised by this, though. The Supreme Court had earlier ruled that an accused would not necessarily be able to see the person accusing them in court if that accuser wanted to cover their face with a niqab. This is the abandonment of centuries of legal tradition in this country by elites that can't be bothered to see that multiculturalism isn't supposed to be about transforming Canada. It's supposed to be about respecting other cultures, but not cultures that would do away with the openness, the transparency, the equality that they say they're fighting for, tooth and nail. Instead, what they view multiculturalism as is a chance to replace Canadian culture with a foreign one. And anyone that's offended by that needs to get a dictionary. Covering your face at a citizenship ceremony or other solemn event is a foreign idea in Canada, and it should remain one. The Canadian public shouldn't accept this. None of the political parties should, but we know that Tom Mulcair and Justin Trudeau will. What the Conservatives will do about it remains to be seen.